Hello everyone and welcome to another Thomas video. So today we're taking a look at Nadu combo deck in Thomas format. So with the recent update with the Power Cube, we got this little card called Lightning Greaves. This is actually our first equipment in Thomas format that costs 0 to equip, which means now Nadu finally has a pair of boots to wear to activate Nadu's ability multiple times per turn, which is really good for Nadu here. One problem with the card is that it gives you Shroud, and that's actually really bad. So for example, if you play your Nadu on the battlefield without any creatures on the battlefield, you can't actually Lightning Greaves onto the Nadu and then be able to do it again, because the Shroud actually affects both the players, your opponent, and yourself. So there is a little bit of a bad synergy here, but like I said, this is the first equipment with the 0 cost ability that you can constantly activate to trigger our Nadu here. So how does this combo work? Well, you have the Nadu, you have the Lightning Greaves. Nadu says whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or an ability, reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's a land, put it on the battlefield, otherwise put it into your hand. And this ability triggers only twice each turn, which means you're only going to be able to trigger Nadu's ability twice per each creature that you control. So if you have 2 creatures, you can activate twice on the Nadu and then twice on the other creature with the Lightning Greaves. So how do we abuse this? Well, we also have cards like Springheart Nantuko, which can actually create another dude if you get a land with the Nadu, which means every time you reveal a land with the Nadu while the Nantuko is up, you get to trigger the Nadu's effect 2 more times onto the Nantuko creature. Obviously, you could get unlucky, you could not hit a land, things like that, but technically, if you have the Nadu down with the Nantuko, with the Lightning Greaves, there's a good chance you might just win the game. However, there is a catch, and that is the fact that the life total isn't infinite. As you can see, we are playing a 3-color deck. The 3rd color is mostly for the sideboard. It does kind of affect our life total, and we are also playing a lot of fetch lands because of landfall. So technically our life total is not that much. So there's a limited amount of times you can actually shock when you reveal a land with a Nadu. And especially it's going to hurt a lot more if you reveal something like a fetch land. That's why we're playing 2 copies of Forest, and we're also playing a copy of a Yavimaya Cradle of Growth. If you have the Yavimaya down on the battlefield, basically all the fetch lands become a forest, so you don't have to crack it anymore, which does give you a little bit more room to go off with the Nadu. But like I said, life total isn't infinite, so let's say if you draw into something like a Craterhoof Behemoth, you also need to get to your 8th mana to play the Behemoth, which isn't likely to happen because we don't have something like Gaia's Cradle in the format. So that's why we also have a copy of a Lotus Cobra to trigger the landfall into getting a lot more mana with the Nadu, so that you can safely play into your Craterhoof Behemoth if you do happen to draw the card. And obviously this deck does just kill your opponent if you just play a bunch of Mana Dorks, since we do play 8 copies of Mana Dorks into natural order. So that's a possibility. So our endgame goal is our Craterhoof Behemoth most of the times. So I'm kind of curious to see how this deck does. I'm not really sure if it's going to be that good, since the Lightning Greaves also kind of, you know, like I said, you do need a 2nd creature with a Nadu up to rotate equipping because of the Shroud. So there is some little bit of a quirkiness to it. So we'll have to see. So having said that, I'm going to be hopping over to some Thomas 3 to show you guys how the deck does. So let's have a look. All right. Give this a go. Oh my god. Oh no, what happened? Oh man, that was a sad mulligan. By the way, it says rank 459, but it's actually a 700 at the moment from the decay. So yeah. That was a very sad mulligan, wasn't it? We'll go Lightning Greaves. What is this? They fetched immediately. Oh, is this a show and tell deck? It is a show and tell deck. Oh, we have a sneak attack coming out. That's pretty bad. Well, on the bright side, they only have one card. I think we get rid of their red land here. And hopefully that's good enough. Nice. Too bad the counter actually doesn't work here because of the shroud. We might still be able to win this, which is kind of crazy. I mean, what opponent's doing is really cool, though. Let's see. Can I win? Nantuko. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then we give this haste, that's 12 damage. We barely won. That was actually pretty cool. I'm actually pretty inspired to try out Sneak Attack again. Let's have Deafening Silence. Archon. Swords of Plowshare. Disruptor Flute. I guess we want the Disruptor Flute instead of a Swords of Plowshare. We could have a Force of Vigor actually. So what are we getting rid of? I don't think we can get rid of a Natural Order because opponent's playing a combo deck. We have to go fast. I don't think they're going to be playing on Counterspell, so we don't need Elusora Shepherd. Probably not Sylvan Safekeeper either. But this is also potentially like a combo piece. Huh, this is actually a kind of a hard sideboard. Maybe Aatrox out. Oh my god. I'm just cutting random cards. I don't have time. Alright. We're just missing Nadu. Nadu. Oh my god, Preordain as well! I can't wait to try out like some of the blue decks. That's sick. So I think I'm gonna call actually, because of the fact that they have a seeding song, I can't just even call like Show and Tell with Disruptor Flute. Can I? Huh. That's actually kind of insane. I think if that's the case, I'm just going to play Deathrise Shaman, into blowing up opponent's Thundering Falls here. Okay. I guess I'm just playing 2 Disruptor Flutes then. So show and tell. I don't think you call Seeding Song. I think you call show and tell and then hold up Disruptor Flute for when they use a Seeding Song, right? Like if they play a Seeding Song here, okay, I would use the Disruptor Flute. Natural Order. All right. I'll pass. I'm doing this because of potential like fire magic. They only have 1 mana, so I guess they could just. Okay, so this is a good sign that they don't have a Seeding Song. Where the land's at? Where the land's at? I could just Natural Order. Let's do it again. Looking for a land. Okay. Nothing. So I miss out on the damage then. Thought they could have something. I also don't know if they play counter magic. That's kind of the problem here. So this is show and tell, huh? Otherwise, they wouldn't sequence like this, in my opinion. Because if it wasn't a show and tell, they could have just played out with this 5 mana into, you know, sneak attack. Into another Seeding Song. They're just playing out the creature. Okay, I think we won. Yeah, we 100% won now. Alright, GG's. That's a terrible hand. And that's a decent hand. Alright, so we are playing against that kind of deck. I could strip mine into Nantuko. Doesn't seem too bad. Static Prison on the Shaman. Alright, sure. The question is, do I strip mine again? Do I strip mine again? Maybe I do, because I have 2 more lands. And then we just double block the Oslo Pride. Wow, they play Chrome Mox. Okay, this could be trouble. They play Chrome Mox.
Nothing can break our bond.
Another Johnny.
What a beautiful day, brother. Hunt down the deceivers. Our pride must fight together.
I think we lost. The Chrome Mox was actually so strong. The Chrome Mox was actually way too strong. Man. We did find Nadu, but the problem is we're kind of dead. Yeah, we're kind of dead.
Treachery ends
Oh,
here.
GG's.
Villain.
Alright, we want Prismatic Ending and 2 swords. We want to take out the Shepherd, Lotus Cobra. Maybe a Green Sun Zenith. It's kind of a... I mean, like, we do have, like, swords and stuff, but it's kind of weak-hand. No, like, Mana Dorks. And we also have a Crater Hoof Behemoth in our hand. Which is also not good either. This hand also kind of sucks. But... yeah. Like, the fact that we have 8 Mana Dorks, like, not getting a Mana Dork there is just pretty unlucky. If they actually attacked first, there's a chance I might have not blocked. They would have actually gotten way rewarded by playing that card, by stealing a Swords Plowshare. Oh, that's crazy. We would have actually had a combo. Blood Moon. I did not bring a Blood Moon hate, so GG's. Okay, Nadu waiting room. Or natural order. There's actually a couple of cards that makes this really good, right? Natural order, Green Sun Zenith, they all kind of work. I could set up a Grief. This way, like, we can just like haste this in. The mana dorks, that is. Okay. Actually, a pretty good card. Forest? I could play the Safekeeper, or... do I just play the Shaman? The thing is, we're kind of taking damage, which isn't good. Probably protect the Weary Zone Guard. I think we just block. We need Nadu. Sheldred, pretty strong. Pretty strong. Okay. Not going to attack with the Sheldred. Do I block this? So if I not do, I'll have 2 mana left. I go to 6 here. And then 4. Then if I Overgrown Tomb, then if I get a shock land, I can't shock myself with the Nadu here. Maybe I have to block. We'll see. Like, this isn't a win yet. That's actually really good. Who do I want to put it on? Maybe you? Oh no. Oh no, we're already roping. Okay, we got natural order. Do not pay. We can win here. No, we drew the Crater Hoof Behemoth. I got greedy. Oh no. No. What a game. All right. I guess we lose. I mean, we didn't technically lose yet. We didn't technically lose. Like, even if a one ring comes down, we do have the Death Ray Shaman to stall. But like, my god. I can't believe we drew this. Oh my god. Crazy. Crazy, I say. I'm not really sure if I would have won with the natural order there. When I only had like 5 creatures. Like, I'm not really sure. That's a weird one to reanimate, actually. Man, that's kind of crazy, isn't it? Let's get rid of a strip mine. Let's put a creature in the yard. All right, so we got another strip mine. Nantuko. Shepherd? Grief? I have 5 mana right now. Okay, that was still good enough. Man. Talk about luck. Yeah, so that can happen. That's why having like Gaia's Cradle is so important, but we don't actually have that. So we want Endurance, we want Veil of Summer, we don't want Shepherd, we probably don't need Lotus Cobra because opponents playing things like Bowmaster. They don't play any fetch lands. It's either between like this one or this one. Could just be a Bristly Bill. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. Voidwalker. So that does kind of make my Deathray Shaman pretty bad. It's kind of annoying. Oh, they didn't do it. Interesting. I guess they must have a removal spell for this Nadu then? Like they could have Strip Mine into Fatal Push. Otherwise, I think they would have actually just done it. I think I'm just going to play a Noble Hierarch and pass. So they didn't take the bait. If you do create a token that's a copy of that creature, if you didn't create a token this way, does this work by the way? I wonder. So what I'm waiting for is if opponent sacrifices a Strip Mine and I pay 2 by landfall, I'm kind of curious if that works. I mean, that is if they activate the Strip Mine, but they didn't, obviously. Oh, so that doesn't work that way. Interesting. I didn't know that. Well, I guess you live and learn. I don't have a choice now. Opponent's holding on to that Strip Mine for the longest time, so... I thought it would work, but it doesn't. Yeah, I thought it would work, but it doesn't. I don't think it's over yet, but I'm actually kind of sad that it doesn't work. Yeah, I'm a bit sad. One ring. Might lose because of that. It's been a long time since I played with Nantuko, and I've never actually put it on opponent, I wanna say. Okay. Why doesn't it work, by the way? If you do, create a token that's a copy of that creature. Like, I control this Nantuko. So I'm actually kind of curious, like, why it doesn't work. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm probably dead. Unless I get like a Nadu off the top or Natural Order or Green Sun Zenith. Nope, just a strip mine. I don't think even if I put the Nantuko on my creature, I don't think we actually would have won. That's actually pretty unlucky too, because this deck opponent's playing doesn't seem like it has any like way to proc the what is it, Revolt trigger other than the strip mine, but they just naturally drew into 2 strip mines like that. And the Voidwalker seems pretty strong, but I don't think I'm gonna bring a removal spell in my opinion. I don't think that's the play. All right. Grief into Reanimate. Just a Fatal Push. Just a Fatal Push. Into Thoughtseize. I'll hold on to this Rainforest, I think. Shaman. Shaman. Alright, pass. It's kind of annoying. Another strip mine. Hey, Troxa. Well, that's not gonna do anything. Another land here. It's also not really doing anything here. 4, 5. Even if I draw a land, that's still 6 mana. 3, 4, 5, 6. First game was pretty sick because we got to do Nadu things, but then the games after that, not really doing much here. Oh, that's actually kind of sick. Another Orcish Bowmaster. I didn't think they would have another Bowmaster because they didn't attack with this Orc Army token last turn. But I didn't have much play there anyways. Tapping the Strip Mine. I don't like that. Do they have that other 3-mana card? Maybe I should have fetched. Maybe I should have fetched. No. That's kind of annoying. Oh man. How am I supposed to play the game? Wait, why was this revealed? Wait, I actually don't know how it was revealed. Alright, this must be, this is probably GG's. Seems like they got this under control. Because even if a Nadu comes out, because I don't have an extra creature, I can't really combo off. Because the Lightning Greaves has a pretty severe downside of having a Shroud, I mean. Didn't matter anyways. Man, that was, those draws were just not it, right? We drew what? We drew, we got the Worry Zone Guard discarded, Nantuko discarded. We drew a Hierarch, which got Bowmastered into Land, Surveil. That was pretty much our draws there. Alright. Wow, finally, like, we see a hand with Mana Dorks into other cards. Like, that's kind of crazy. It's a rare occurrence. So for our 3-drop, do we go with the Worry Zone Guard or Nadu here? I'm kind of leaning towards Worry Zone Guard. I mean, that is if I... Well, that's not good. Opponent just played a... Never mind. There's no fetch lands available. I'm gonna go with the Lotus Cobra. So even if Death Ray Shaman gets killed, we have a Lotus Cobra. I might just go into natural order into Aatroxa if I can. I feel like opponent's gonna probably struggle against it if it comes out. Wow, 5 in a card? What's a 5 in a card? Shaldred? No Fatal Push. Well, we don't really have the combo with the Nadu. I think we just go natural order. Seems like it's a Fatal Push. Yeah, we'll just go into Aatroxa. I'm not really sure if I wanna... I think I'll just... Yeah, let's just get rid of a Cobra. Lightning Greaves. Land. Do we go for a second Nadu? In case it gets like... I guess if they have a discard spell, they would get rid of the Lightning Greaves anyway, so... Just grab like a Psychic Cub. I could have actually not blocked. Maybe I shouldn't have blocked. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have blocked. Mistakes were made. Yeah, I shouldn't have blocked. I don't know what I was thinking. I shouldn't have blocked. What an idiot. What an idiot. Alright, so... Probably put it on you. Decline. Alright. Bring in 2 Disruptor Flutes. And 2 Swords. Veil of Summer. Shepherd. Bill. Lotus Cobra. We actually have to cut the Lotus Cobra every single time because of Bowmaster. Which isn't ideal. I also don't really know what to cut. Maybe we're sideboarding too much. Maybe just do that. Okay. It's a pretty bad sign to put the grief under. Turn 1, 1 ring. Insane. Into a Dark Ritual. And a Grief. I think they're just going to take away the Green Sun Zenith. Interesting. Okay, they had a strip mine. I think that's probably GG. I mean, it's just a bit too slow for us. We're a bit too slow. Huh. Will this work? Let's find out. Fatal push. Figured as much. I could have also just gone Lightning Greaves as well here, but didn't think it was actually that good. Alright, so we can non-Tuco. Play the Strip Mine. Get rid of this land. Probably just do that and attack. Into a Mox. Land. Where he's on guard. Alright. Another one. Probably just chump block. Shaman. This is kind of bad though. I'm not in a good spot. Like, I need to draw Nadu. I do need to draw Nadu here. Why'd you surrender? Alright, so we took a look at this deck today. We went 4-4 with the deck. We played 8 matches, and amongst those 8 matches, we've only got to combo with the Nadu once. That's right, we actually only got to combo with Nadu exactly once. And that's pretty bad. I think there's like multiple reasons why this is really bad. We're in a strip mine format. You know, playing a 3-color deck is pretty bad. Getting to Nadu just felt almost impossible. There's a lot of removal spells on the mana dorks. Even like Natural Order felt a little bit clunky. The fact that the Green Sun Zenith doesn't have Arbor Dryad is also pretty bad in this format. So to get the Nadu out with the Green Sun Zenith, it's the same cost as a Natural Order. So I decided to play Natural Order. Didn't really work out. So there is that as well. And most times it's just better to Natural Order into Crater Hoof anyways, instead of Nadu. And I've also drawn into our Crater Hoof Behemoth and Aatroxa multiple games, where the Natural Order actually became a lot worse as a result. So the Lightning Greaves is also a little bit awkward because the Shroud also affects being able to combo off of just Nadu alone. So this is also a little bit of a downside as well, because if you only have one creature that you put down, which is Nadu, and then you play Lightning Greaves onto Nadu, you can't Lightning Greaves activation on the Nadu again because it has Shroud. Because Shroud affects both the players, your opponent and yourself. So the Lightning Greaves has some problems as well. Not to mention it's a 2-mana card, so lots of problems going on here. The things I liked, Deathray Shaman was good. The Psychic Cub was good. The Nantuko was pretty good. The Worry Zone Guard was a little bit clunky as well, for some reason. Like I said, today's session wasn't the greatest, where even the Worry Zone Guard felt a little bit clunky. Despite having 8 copies of Mana Dorks. A lot of the matches kind of came down to me having to mulligan to 5 just to find like a playable hand. However, one thing's for sure, I do think this deck is not it. I don't think Nadu is it. Despite having Lightning Greaves, the problem with Nadu is just the fact that energy is very popular. And what happens when energy is very popular is every card that you play gets zapped instantly. Since they get to play, 12 copies of removal spells or something like that, and still be able to generate an army because all of their creatures like proliferate. So that's kind of the problem with the deck. You could maybe try out a build without the Worry Zone Guard and potentially like more copies of Green Sun Zenith. But like I said, even just getting to 4th mana was really, really difficult for this deck. Yeah, I had a really terrible time. Maybe we could cut one of our like one-ofs. Potentially. The Safekeeper combos with Nadu, but if you can never get to Nadu, well, like, what's the use of this? This also has some really cool synergy with the Worry Zone Guard, being able to sacrifice a land and get it back with the Worry Zone Guard. The Lotus Cobra, the reason why we even played Lotus Cobra, by the way, is because we don't have Gaia's Cradle. So, like, let's say if you have the Nadu down, but you don't have that much life to, like, shock, fetch, shock all of these lands. That's where like the Lotus Cobra can become handy, especially like, if you draw into Craterhoof Behemoth. Now you have to like somehow float 8 mana. That's when like Lotus Cobra with the Nadu combo can shine, where like you landfall trigger, play more lands on the battlefield, and then you can hard cast the Behemoth from the hand. The Shepherd is there for the anti-counter spell. All the like one-of cards does have some usages, like even like the Bristle build, you can double the number of counters instead of just another copy of a Psychic Cub. So every card does kind of have some usages, but the problem is just getting to the Nadu is the biggest problem. It's either gonna get discarded, cards are gonna get removed, things like that. It's just not a good time. So yeah, that is gonna be it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys all next one. Bye bye.